Welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Modded Minecraft with me, Greatester. And we left at the end of last episode by completing our data center. But I've decided I was going to link up the systems, but I've decided to change my mind a little bit. We've got a fuel right now, and I thought, I want a good excuse to at least do some kind of introduction to Computercraft, and I'm not going to do that with trivial ways or boring ways. I want to do something utterly ludicrous, because we're building things out of Ludicrite again, but I also want to make it so that you know, it's not completely out of the ballpark for people to use if they want to. Again, this isn't something you may want to do. You'll see what I mean in a second. So, to start with, yeah, something ludicrous. So, I want to create some ores. Remember, one of my stated goals, if you like, when I started doing the laser drills for fuel, was that, well, I didn't want to run my frame quarry any longer. My server files were just increasing in size, and I wasn't getting anything out of it. So I made laser drills for fuel, and they work absolutely fine. Let's go and take a look, actually. They should be doing okay. Yeah, chest is full, and the system has got a back stuffed with 825, which is fine. It means I can turn on more turbines if I want more power. I don't need more power right now, but if I did, I have it. So, you know, we have that system that we built. Is that good enough? Well, you see, I also want ores, and that's what I was getting out of my frame quarry. So we're going to need a way to get ores. Yes, I could be boring and put more laser drills up. Endgame, I may well do that. This part of the game, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do something fun and ludicrous. Let's start. One of the things I'm going to need, excuse me, is an awakened activation crystal. We've only used the other version until now, and this needs a few different ingredients. Do I have everything I need for one of these? But I think I've already made it. I think it's already in position. So you use the alchemic chemistry set as normal. Get a demon shard, some incendium, ether, and aquasalus. You can use a nether star if you want to, and that's generally what I did, I think. Do I have any of the others? Nether star? I have one of those. One of those. Yeah, I did make some of the components. Good. Aquasalus. What's the other ingredients? Ether, or aether. There we go. So I forgot to put these in our alchemic chemistry set. Doesn't matter where you put them, I don't think, but yeah, let's put them there. And if we get our old weak activation crystal, we can drop it in, and it'll start cooking up into our awakened one. I have previously made one. I made one while testing, but this is my personal one, and I can then use it to just replace my existing one. And that shouldn't be bound to me. It is. I can keep that there. What does that mean? Well, it means that I can make some of the more expensive or larger rituals, if you like. You're going to want a couple of stacks of ritual stones for this. And this is the mark of the falling tower. See all of this? It's all the ritual. It's a couple of stacks, maybe a bit less, something like 100, 110, something like that. And you'll see I've enclosed, we'll come back to that in a minute. But the way this works, this is activated. You see the little swirls there. You drop a block onto it, and it will summon very, very far above an asteroid. And that will fall onto this top of this thing, and it will blow it apart. Except if you lay a platform. A 1 block high platform will do, but in this case the easiest thing to do is a pillar. So you just pillar up from that ritual stone all the way up, probably about 80 blocks up. This is more because I've had this structure around it. This is the catcher-tron, if you like, the Asteroid-catcher-tron 9000. I'd really planned for the asteroid to come all the way into this and just stop, and I thought, yeah, that'll be easy. And then I summoned it, and it blew apart this entire structure into a bazillion pieces and killed me. That's why when I replaced the top section with obsidian and some of the bottom section with obsidian, and it still killed, it still blew apart the obsidian. So don't think you can make it with obsidian. Warded blocks from FTBcraft? Maybe. And yeah, I'll experiment that when we get to that part of FTBcraft. I don't have it right now. So right now I've just built a pillar and it goes all the way up. See this? So what's going to happen is when it summons, it's going to hit that top block and stop, and there's going to be an almighty explosion. It's going to blast downwards, but because there's nothing else around it up there, a long way up there, it's going to be fine. So let's go and do that, shall we? Now I've set a program up. Let's see how much I've got. So I've got 8.8 million. I've set a program up to do this, and I'm going to show it in action first, and then we're going to go through it. Which way around? Yeah, let me show in action first, because those people who don't want to watch the Computercraft section of this, yeah, you're just going to see it in action. Those of you who do want to see Computercraft, well, yeah, that's enough for you. So let's go and have a look at the program. At the moment it's set up so that it just runs once. So let me just exit out of Lua for a second, and I'm not going to go into Computercraft until after I've shown it to you, but I did just want to show you what's actually happening here. Don't worry about any of it, except that it's setting redstone output on the right hand side, and I think I just crashed. That did not go well. I'll be right back. And after a swift reboot, hopefully everything is now fine. Not sure why that actually happened. Just NVIDIA deciding today you're not going to record seamlessly. So, what's happening here? Ignore the top part. All this is saying is output a redstone signal to the right, wait a second, turn it off, sleep 3 seconds, then broadcast. This is just like a radio, if you like. Summon asteroid to, let's call it a group, it's a channel, but to the miners channel, and then broadcast mine the asteroid to the miners. And I think what I'm going to do there is just put a sleep of, let's say 20 seconds. Okay, and let's exit this for a second. So let's see this in action. Okay, so what you should see is an item drop. There it goes. And then an asteroid should arrive. There it is. Look at that. An asteroid full of ores. In this case it's triggered by an iron block, so you get lots of iron ore, copper, tin, lapis, you name it, you get it in here with some redstone. But what you'll also see coming up from the outside in a second is my army of miners. Now come on. I could do this with frame cores and all kinds of other ways, I'm sure, but what can't be beaten is an army of turtles just decimating anything that you want. So the idea with these asteroids from this particular Mark of the Falling Tower from Blood Magic, whoops, not sure what's going on there. The idea with these, there's some rendering issues, they're still going, is that you can summon asteroids of various types depending on what block you drop on that center. But when you do so, you've got to be a bit careful in that they're variable sizes. So when I create this army of bots, they will go and mine whatever size. Well, I've given it a rough size at least to start with. If you drop an iron block, they're this big. If you drop a diamond on it, it's a bit smaller, but you get diamond and emerald ores in there. Of course, I don't need emeralds because of the lime laser drill, but the diamonds are more than welcome. And then if you drop a nether star, it's even tinier still. But you can also drop stone block, I think, to make it even bigger, so these have to mine at least the largest size. I think this should cover it roughly. And then literally just going up to a certain height, going all the way forward, all the way back, getting rendering bugs while they're at it, and mining the way forward. Dig, move forward, etc. And coming back again. So I figured that would be a pretty simple introduction to Computercraft with this awesome, ludicrous way of getting ore without the boring part of laser drills. And yeah, I think this is pretty much qualifies. So what's actually going to happen now is that once they're finished, they're going to go all the way back down. They're not going to dump their ores, they dump their ores at the start of the process. So, you know, you always have this buffer of ores in the system. You can easily change that in the code. And when they've actually finished, the middle one of all of these is the one that's going to be going through the center pillar, and because of that it's slower than the rest. And even if it weren't, the middle 5 would be slower than the rest, so any of the, because of the width of that last block, because every time they dig it slows them down, and obviously we don't want that. But a certain, you see here, that's the last one. A certain benefit of that is that when this last one returns to its initial position or finishes its program, we can use it to trigger another program, because we're pretty much certain that all the others will have been will have already done. You know, it's going to be the last back in the gate, if you like. So when that comes down, it's going to send another radio signal down to this little guy who's sitting here just waiting. These are the messages that get received on the mining channel. Some asteroid has gone through, mine asteroid is currently going, and then it's going to get a message, just lay a pillar. In front of it, it's got a ender chest full of stone. It's got an input to our ore processing, our main system, and it's got some coal at the back. These turtles need coal to operate. And in order to do that, you just add some into the program to tell them go and pick up a stack of coal if they're below a certain amount of fuel, and then refuel it from it, and then just dump your inventory or whatever. So that's the complete system, if you like. I've not set it up to work on a timer yet, but if I look at this, it's probably going to be an hour per run. And that hour should be fairly straightforward to actually code. You know, you just put a sleep in there, and then put it into the startup program instead of this initiate program. You can create a startup program just by doing something like copy. Well, I'm not going to do it now because I need to add the sleep into it, and you add a loop into that to actually make it run permanently. So that's pretty much it for the demonstration. It's a pretty ludicrous way to get ore. It's done pretty much entirely using Computercraft. There's none of that earlier logic circuitry that I've used from Project Red. There's no timers or state cells or anything like that. If you prefer coding, this is going to be the episode for you. So with that in mind, for all those who don't want to carry on to see the Computercraft, feel free to like and subscribe. If you want to see more of these videos, follow me on Twitter @Gradaster, or indeed on YouTube with the subscribe side of things. If you don't like this video, well, how can you not like it? I mean, come on, look, they're just mining that. There it goes. But if you don't like it, tell me why, and we'll see what we can improve in the future. That said, you obviously leave any comments below. If you just got any questions, particularly if you got any questions about Computercraft, this is a good introduction episode. So, with that said, hopefully most of you are still with me. If not, it's okay. You know, we'll let those other non-Computercraft liking people go away. Yeah, that's fine. So let's start, shall we? How can we break this down? Well, the simplest thing is this, actually. And I'm going to put pastebins for all this code, so if you don't think you need to actually write down this code as you see it, let's go into here and yeah, it should be safe to actually disable this. If you press Ctrl-T, you can terminate any running program. LS or DIR will show you what the programs are, and if we do edit startup, let's take a look. This first line is largely just saying find the modem and assign it to M. Don't worry about anything else. You can see it in the pastebins I'll put those in the description so you can have a look at your leisure online using a web browser. Summon asteroid literally is saying select slot 1 in my inventory, suck, and then drop down. And that means basically take one item out of the chest and drop it below me. Below that, it says, well, that function above, if you like, doesn't happen until you call it, until you specify somewhere to summon it. So after that, this part does actually happen. It says RedNet, open the modem on the side that you find it on. That means you can put the modem on whatever side you like. You don't have to be worried about it. And while true, this block of code, all it does is basically saying, on this first line, listen to channel minus. And if that channel receives a message saying summon asteroid, then call that function above, summon asteroid. That's all it does. Very, very simple program, this. Almost simple that you can just don't need a turtle for it, but I just wanted to actually demonstrate, you know, Computercraft. So if we press Command R, it'll reboot and go into the waiting mode, if you like. The program is started because it's called startup. Any program's called startup will start up automatically without you having to do anything, which is great. So I've shown you initiate briefly. All that's doing is triggering things when I type in initiate. Eventually that will just have a startup program of its own with just a loop. It's going to be very, very trivial to do. I'm not even sure whether that's worthwhile putting on camera or not, but yeah, if you have problems with that, just let me know. So outside, let's go and have a look. What do I have out here? I may have to wait for them to come back down. Yeah, they're still mining away. While they're mining away, let's just look at the lay pillar. Because we can look at that while they're mining. It'll get triggered once they get back, but yeah, no need to worry about it otherwise. So, let's terminate that and edit your startup. All this is saying is what's the top height of the pillar you want. These first two lines are the only things you need to touch. What's the top height and what's my current height? There's no way for a turtle to work out what its current height is unless you've got bedrock to act as a reference, I think. But this is all that it's saying. If I stand next to the turtle, what's my height? And it gives the difference, the height difference, and the modem again. Empty inventory is just basically saying turn to its left, go through every slot and drop everything in the chest, and turn to the right. Check fuel. If its fuel level is less than 6,000, then select its first slot, turn left twice, i.e. turn around, suck from that, take a stack of things from that inventory, turn right twice, and then refuel, so it's going to use up all that stack. Grab stone, it's going to be facing forward, just select slot 1 and suck, so grab a stack of stone. Prepare drone goes through those, it just empties the inventory, checks the fuel and grabs a stack of stone, and then finally the lay pillar, select stack inventory slot 1. You probably don't need all these inventory slot 1 things. I just like to be a little bit careful with the code. And this is for loop. So as an introduction for Computercraft, for loop just goes through from 1 to whatever you set, which is the height in this case, so the height difference. It's going to go through this loop that many times. Dig up, so dig directly above yourself and then go up. Then go down 1. So what happens is on the last loop here, it's gone up after it's dug the top level. So you have to go down once you come out of the loop. For the next loop, we do the same thing. We're just going to go down and then place a block up, so above myself. So it's going to mine all its way up. If there's a pillar in the way still, or remnants of a pillar, it's going to start placing the pillar back down again. It's going to get to the bottom and then empty the inventory. Open the modem and wait for a message saying lay pillar. And that's it. They're still going. My God, that takes a little bit of time. But it only takes about... my sigil of holding is showing how fast my recharge rate is. And these will mine an entire asteroid in a third of the time the recharge will happen in, so I don't need to run this any faster or have more turtles. In fact, what I could do is have, if I wanted to change the program, have a third as many turtles and just have them do multiple passes through this thing. But yeah, I don't much, you know, I don't much mind here. So I'm going to go and show you just briefly the recipes while they are finishing their run on how to make the Computercraft stuff, and then I will show you the last program. So, computers. The recipes is, well, the recipe for turtles is wrong. As of the DW20 1.0.3 pack, it's just horribly wrong. First thing you need to do is make an advanced turtle for the advanced computer, I should say. And that's easy, you know, 1, 2 of those. How many as you want? I've made, mine is 33 turtles, but you can make, you know, a lot fewer than that. You should make them run multiple passes. That's entirely up to you. Reason why I say the recipe is wrong is if I look at turtle and go to this advanced turtle, it says put a computer in the middle. Unfortunately, that doesn't work. If you shift click this recipe, it doesn't work. If you do the same thing but just put an advanced computer in the middle, it'll work fine. So if you put one of these in, grab yourself a chest and some gold. You get a turtle. The only difference really is the turtle has an inventory and can move if you give it coal. So we don't just want an advanced turtle, we also want a couple of other things. A modem for one thing, and a wireless modem at that. Very, very simple to make, just stone and an ender pearl, and we can use a wireless modem. If we put the advanced turtle and one of the wireless modems in here, in this case I prefer to put it on the right. It's on the left if you like of the turtle, that's the front of the turtle, this is the left hand side, and you can grab it out there. If you were to put a diamond pickaxe on the other side, it would make it a mining turtle, which is what the main group of turtles in this case are. They're mining turtles, just needs a diamond pickaxe. But in Computercraft 1.6 and upwards, if you don't make those things when it's being made in a crafting grid, you can always add them later. There is a way to do that. You basically, you put the diamond pickaxe into its inventory, you select that slot in the lure prompt, just by typing lure, so turtle.select one, for instance, and then turtle.equip, I think it is, or something like that. It'll just, turtle.equip, and then you specify where you want it to equip, so right, for instance, and then that will go ahead and do it. So those are the turtles. They're very useful little things. If you've not used them before, they are a lot simpler to get going than you might think. Many people, you know, are somewhat intimidated by writing these programs. Not very intimidating. You can get away with just writing it down through the lure prompt and then, you know, making a program up and testing it. Have they done yet? They probably haven't. They're probably still going above the asteroid because I need to make it large enough that they'll continue going. Are they up there or are they down here? No, they must be still up here with a rendering bug somewhere. Oh, there they are. I have no idea why this rendering thing happens. Certainly is not something that happened to me during testing, but they are still there and working. You'll see they're actually descending now, so if I can get nearby to them. There you go. They're coming back down. And they should just miss. Yeah, we're in the right position. And they will come back to their starting position. Here they come. Now, while the middle one is still up there, I will show you one of these programs. So if I look into one of these things, these outside ones don't have any inventory on them. The inside ones, I should be able to find... Ah, there we are. So this is where the asteroid kind of starts. They've got a little bit of material. As each one comes in, they should have more and more material, and then the middle one will probably have the most. So, for a second, let's just look at this program. This is the most complicated, and it still isn't all that complicated. But, again, all the pastebins for these will be in the description below, so don't worry about looking at it now. Start height, that's just what they're at the moment. The lowest point you wish you want them to start mining across, the highest point you wish to start mining them across, and then how far across you want it to go. It depends on the size of your chamber. In this case I've put 33, and you can just tweak those values to whatever you want in your particular world if you want to use this program. Again, it's pretty ludicrous, so it's just to serve as an introduction to Computercraft. So empty inventory does the same kind of thing as the lay pillar thing. It moves back one in this case. It goes through its inventory slots and drops them in the chest below, then it moves forward one. Check fuel, it just does the same thing except it grabs fuel from the chest above it. Prepare drone just does both of those. Mine asteroid does prepare drone, moves it forward, and then calculates the transit, so how far up to move to the bottom position of its mining. It goes through a loop of going up, works out the height of the asteroid, and then for that height it then digs forward, comes back, and then it loops again. So for the height of the asteroid, it calculates your low and high asteroid height setting. It will just basically do it layer by layer, forward to back. Then it'll go up once it gets to these back. Because yeah, let's just go back there. It's digging forward, it's digging back, and it moves up to the next level and then loops. So that brings it up to the next layer up, if you like. The return height, it just calculates the highest asteroid height in the starting one, and then it just loops through for 4 loop, going down all the way back to the starting height, and then moves back 1 space. Now if you wanted to empty inventory, you could here. I'm not going to do it because I've pastebin all these things too much, and I'd have to go through all 33 turtles again retrieving the pastebin, so I'm not going to do it at the moment. I should have put like a line there saying empty inventory, and that would have been fine. But you know, they do that at the start of things as well, so don't worry about it. Rednet to open, while true, wait for a message saying mine asteroid, and that's it. Simple. Hopefully, if you've got any questions about any of the individual blocks of code, feel free to leave a comment. It should be understandable. There's plenty of good help online at the Computercraft website, and you know, I'm more than happy to answer any comments. So we're just going to exit, and we're going to reboot this computer. And now the middle one has come in, and the only difference to the middle one, in fact, let's go and have a look. Has that actually triggered things? It should have. Or maybe it hasn't, because I messed with it. Did you receive a message to say lay pillar? You did. Why aren't you laying? I will figure that out off camera. It was working until I interrupted it, so I need to go and just diagnose that. But the center one, the only thing it actually has that's different to all the others, you'll see it has the most stuff that it's picked up anyway. If I terminate that, let it start up. And all the way down here, the only thing it does is it mines the asteroid, then it broadcasts lay pillar on the minus channel, and that is pretty much it. It works. I've got to figure out why lay pillar isn't working, but it did work. It's just because it's facing the wrong direction. No, it's facing the right direction. It's on. Let's have a look at its startup. Unless it actually already has worked. That's one possible while I was looking. that would be a good, not coincidence. Let's go and have a look. If it has worked, the top of the pillar should be 120 high. If it hasn't, it's probably going to be 108, something like that. Yeah, there we go. It did actually already lay that pillar while we're looking at the other program. So yeah, it is all working fine. There aren't any problems. So all I need to do is now add a timer and 8.35. Okay, so edit initiates. I need to put the whole thing in a while loop, so while true, do sleep, and this is in seconds, so 60 seconds to a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, so it's 3,600 for that. Let's just say it's 3,800 sleep. Then it's pretty much everything else. I don't think there's any changes really here. So I can save that, I can exit, and then if I just look at this, I can copy, initiate into startup for this computer, and then what I'm going to do is do these pastebins. I'm not going to do them on camera because I'm going to just, yeah, I'd have to alt-tab backwards and forwards, and I don't want to interrupt the video to do that. So I will pastebin them all. This one I'm going to call the master computer on the pastebin gets. This one is the dropper, the pillar layer, and the mining totals. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to get permanent ores by virtue of having a good blood magic system. And you get to see this awesome thing in action. So, pretty good thing all around. Obviously, I've already said all the spiels about subscribing and liking, all that stuff, so there's no need to go through all that again. And I've got an amazing ore processing system. Well, an ore creation system. So, yeah, that's probably this episode. And next episode, I probably am going to have to look at how to connect the two systems up and start doing things with quantum gateways. So once again, this is me being greatest as usual, and you being you as usual. Thanks for watching. Whoops, one last thing I forgot to mention. It's outputting redstone signal to the side here, by the way, in case you're wondering, because underneath here there is an autonomous activator set to right-click with an awaken activation crystal set to your network. Enabled, set to high signal only, with some red alloy wire. All that's doing is then triggering that to right-click the Master Ritual Stone, which is what you need to do to activate it. And every time you activate it, it uses up 1,000,000 of your hard-earned, well, your hard-witched life points. So that's how that's happening. And every time it does it, you can't keep dropping items to get more and more asteroids. You have to actually use up 1,000,000 each time. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. Should have mentioned it at the start. Hopefully you've watched to this part of the video.